All right, we're live. Who would like to do a recap?
Everybody freed themselves from the glass that had formed over various limbs and body parts. We saw in the distance there was a plateau, a glowing plateau, and we also saw that there were signs of another town in roughly the same direction. Petrie spent a lot of time chasing down a displacer beast kitten that he eventually caught and is now like his pet living in his backpack, but left him without any food whatsoever. So even if he survives the Warforged, he may not survive the Mournlands. The doll's head pointed us in a direction, and we walked that way and found a forest. There were slightly unnatural animal noises coming from it. Ivar found a dead displacer beast that was apparently the mother of the displacer beast kitten, but had been tore into by a monster that turned out to be irrelevant. And we walked. Of course, the doll's head was pointing us in the direction that the monster seemed to have gone. We went in that direction and came upon a group of Warforged, 8 Warforged, and then a 9th giant ball-shaped Warforged that had apparently killed the lizard monster that ate the displacer beast. But the doll's head now seemed to be pointing at the Warforged and not into a particular direction. So we didn't see any sign of the Lady of the Mists or Elmorn's daughter in that direction. So that we were left with the mystery of not really knowing why that is. So we decided to send Petrie out to draw their fire.
So really quickly, let's also review what is your affliction.
No,
I don't want
Ivar has the cloudy eyes, so is having a little difficulty seeing.
Elmorn has shortness of breath and no hair nor eyebrows.
Petrie has space crabs.
Did that not go away with the displacer beast?
Nope. And then Tony, you have some kind of palsy.
Yeah, I got a twitchy right arm, and I'm orange.
Yes.
So you're Donald Trump?
I got big hands though.
That's what Donald Trump says, by the way.
Yeah, I
know. All right. So before we get started, how are you guys currently hiding?
I assume we were like behind trees or whatever. I mean, there might be rocks or bushes. I don't know in the Mournlands what vegetation there is, but there were clearly trees since we're in a forest.
Yeah, there's a number of trees. There's probably a couple of boulders. Any shrubbery would be too thin to really offer much protection to hide behind. But are you guys hiding together behind a single tree or place, or are you guys kind of spread out? And how is the visibility in the way that you guys imagine?
I envisioned us being nearby one another, but like maybe behind different trees or like somebody behind a rock or something. Yeah. And I assume we're just sort of peeking out at these Warforged.
I'm not hiding.
All right, so you guys have line of sight of one another, and from around your various hiding places, you have line of sight of the Warforged. I thought there were only 5, but Kurt seems to have recorded 9, and I trust what he recorded, so we'll go with that.
Damn it,
they are 4 of them are carrying the large lizard creature that seems to have attacked the displacer beast. They're kind of carrying it on like a spigot or whatever you would call it, where they're all they have it kind of tied to various tree branches that they've kind of set up. So each of them are carrying it on one shoulder. The creature doesn't look like what you would expect it to look like. It looks kind of like a mix between one of those titanoboas but with large arms as well, but no feet. So it's pretty big. And then just to kind of set the scene, the trees are all blackened, almost as if they've been charred. They're all dead. None of them have any branches. But despite that, the light within the forest seems dimmer, as if the trees are actually absorbing the ambient light in the area. So it is causing some impact on visibility. It's more of a dimly lit area. It's not complete darkness, but so it does affect visibility in that way. And you do still occasionally hear unnatural animal noises echoing amongst the trees at various intervals. So as you guys are hiding, Petrie steps out from his hiding place. And so Petrie, go ahead and describe how you do this.
So before I step out, I take a deep breath, and I was like, "All right, I got this." And I look at you guys before I leave and say bye, and I just wander out. Yeah, I just walk as if I'm just normally walking.
Okay. So the moment that you get within visible distance, so probably like 10, 15 feet away, they immediately stop. The Warforged that are carrying the creature drop it to the ground. Every single one of them raises their weapons. Each weapon is bladed. None of them are bearing any kind of like blunt force weapon or weapons meant for stabbing. All of them are meant for slashing. Even the massive ball Warforged, which I will show once again,
They are all carrying whiplashes. According to Google, the name of that stick is a carrying pole, or milkmaid's yoke.
Yes. So even this large Warforged, who is as wide as he is tall, and he is quite tall, the weapon that he carries appears to be a massive maul. It's more like a boulder on a reinforced metal rod, but it still ends in a curved edge, as if it was just a giant metal block that had an axe edge welded to the front of it. So immediately, as you come and they react, the large Warforged steps forward, and he says,
"Oh, we can see everything. By the way, turn it off."
Oh yeah, that's. Thank you.
Let me guess. He says hold.
So he says hold. Slicer, threat analysis, and then one of the smaller more lithe warforged who has a number of bladed edges kind of sprouting from various joints from his shoulders, from his elbows, his knees, steps forward. And he, in a somewhat robotic, hollow voice, states, subject presents as a male adolescent of elven descent, perhaps half-elf. Garb indicates indoctrination into the theistic organization that worships the silver flame. Subject is armed, unusual for one so small. Presence of injuries indicates recent combat or environmental hazards. Lack of companions is peculiar given the context of the environment. Assessing. Either previous event in which injuries were suffered separated him from companions, left subject sole survivor, or subject is distraction while companions initiate ambush. Assessing. Specific equipment or protections indicates low preparation for the environment. Level of threat determined to be minimal. However, caution must be exercised as unknown number of hidden forces may be lying beyond current perception.
Elmore yells out, "He thinks you're a joke."
That sounds about right.
So, in response, the large warforged looks to his troops and then looks back to you and states in a very calm voice, "Engage Gamma Protocol."
I'm sure it's fine.
and then he looks over. He looks over to a warforged that appears to just kind of emanate green arcane energy from his eyes, from his fists, and around his chest. And as he steps forward, the one that he referred to as Slicer taps 4 points on his chest, and these metal orbs jump out from his chest and then spring wings and begin flying off. Think of them as the snitch or the golden. What is it?
The golden snitch.
Right.
Quidditch.
Golden snitch, yeah.
Yeah, golden
Yeah.
snitch.
Yeah.
And they fly off, circling the area, and then the large warforge states to this glowing one, "Boils the blood, initiate." And then he has this kind of golden aura that forms around his head, and then sort of in response to that, each of the warforged have like a kind of a glowing dot on their heads in front of their gulra. And then the lithe one vanishes from sight totally.
So just to be clear, our plan was to let them buff.
And then
the one that disappeared, did he appear to cast a spell to do that?
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
That's a natural 20. 28 total.
If it is magic, it's not magic that you're familiar with.
Can I counter it?
Because it was... Yeah, you can try. Okay.
No, I want you to say yes. Totally. Yeah, I'm gonna attempt counter spell.
Okay. Does counter spell have a verbal component to it?
Nope. Just somatic. That's it.
Okay. So what does it look like as you counter this spell?
I'm not entirely sure how it looks like, what it looks like when he does his thing. But I mean,
just assume that you counter it.
Okay.
What does it look like?
Recognizing the effects that are about to take place on this thing, I know the counter runes necessary to make with the hands, like ninja runes, you know, whatever, manipulate chakra thing. I don't know. But with just one hand. I just imagine one hand. And then it just released the magic at the end of it. And
all right, so
hopefully
their
spell fizzles.
Yeah, so the Warforged Scout began to become invisible, but just before it finished, he's suddenly visible again. And then he immediately knows and reacts and says, "Hostile forces are present." And then suddenly you see the one that the large Warforged referred to as boils the blood form an energy orb in his hand and throw it to the ground, and then suddenly you hear perfect silence.
Well, that kind of squashes my next thing that I was going to do. I was going to yell, "Halt!"
So that's going to bring us to initiative.
Okay.
So the group is probably about 40 feet away from the Warforged. Petrie is only about 15 feet away.
Hang in there, man.
Is this also -2?
If it's -2, then it's 5.
Yeah. Every D20 roll.
Alrighty.
Is this an initiative saving throw?
It sounds right to me. I mean,
I got a 9.
man, we're doing real well, guys. Real well.
Okay.
Are you playing as Martha?
His mouth out just dug a hole and is hiding.
I'm not going to. Which one of you mooks would want to play him?
I got enough spells to deal with.
Yeah.
It's really poorly. You only beat one of the Warforged, and that was the big one. All the others are going before you guys. So then we got Ivar. Yes, it is. So do any of you want to play Martha?
I want you to play Martha.
I got enough things to manage.
So Martha just goes back to the Handsome Mansion for Coco.
Elmorn, what was your role?
A 9.
Technically, mine's a 9 too. I forgot the -2.
All right. So, first thing that happens is the scout Slicer raises his fist towards Petrie and unleashes a bolt. Petrie?
What was it? I missed the number.
16.
I think that's the... No, I've got 20. Huh.
All right. So you managed to... do you have a shield?
Yeah, I do have a shield, yeah.
Then deflect the bolt off your shield. Then several of the soldiers begin fanning out into the forest. And then actually, each of you give me an insight check.
Alrighty. Below 10.
A 3.
That's 20, not natural.
Ooh. All right. Email coming your way, Petrie. And since you guys are in a zone of silence, he can't really share this information with you.
It's a huge ass fucking zone of silence.
I am yelling surrender. I surrender, I surrender.
All that escapes your mouth is...
Yeah.
Okay. Sent. So then the one that was referred to as boils the blood unleashes a blast at Petrie. That's like a 23.
That's a hit.
So a little something new that we're going to be doing, since you guys are in a zone of silence. And yes, it is far larger. Tacitus, you would recognize that it's far larger than it should be. So they have either tapped into a new type of magic, or they found a way to. Yeah, they may have found a way to use manipulate the strangeness of the Mornland to their advantage. But because you guys are in a zone of silence, I'm not going to state out loud the damage that is done to you. Everybody but Tacitus, I have your Dice Cloud character open, and I'm just going to move that slider down.
Okay. You can do that while we're in it as well? That won't...
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. So don't... You guys can go ahead and, like... Describe the impact that the attack does to your character, but do not say the numerical value.
What the fuck?
So you take that blast straight in the chest, Petrie. And what does it look like when you get hit?
Like my eyes widen, and I just like look down. I'm like, and now I'm trying to play dead.
Performance check.
What?
It's a performance check.
Yeah, do you fall to the ground and want to play dead?
Yep.
Go with it? All right.
Yep.
Give me a roll.
Ooh. There's my performance. Oh, okay. So that would be a 19.
Okay. If you rolled better than a 3, you got it.
Sweet.
So you went with the force of the beam, allowing it to knock you to the ground, and you are closing your eyes, but keeping that one eye open, kind of looking around every so often.
Yeah, you see like this smoke like just pouring out of me as well.
Was that 19 with the -2?
Yeah, it was with the -2. Yeah.
All right. I
Because
think
I've got
you're
a +3.
I go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
each of you guys with a 4 insight check would also think that Petrie just died.
Pretty much just nod and be like, "Yep."
Yeah.
All right, so now it's your guys' turn. You guys see both these flying orbs like circling the area, as well as several of the soldiers fanning out slowly with their weapons drawn. You cannot speak. What do you guys do?
Wow. My original idea was I was going to put my insignia on from my war days. Maybe they would recognize it and just walk out unassuming. Yeah. Like I said, that was my original idea.
So, what are the? I know the 2 orbs are circling. Are the rest of the Warforged moving? Do they appear like they're? What are they up to? One just blasted Petrie, I know.
Yeah, so both Slicer and Boils the Blood, they are cautiously approaching Petrie now. Meanwhile, the large one is moving slowly out beyond Petrie, and the other troops are kind of fanning out. So they're in a search pattern right now. And you gather from the orbs that they have some kind of connection to Slicer, whether he's able to see through them, or if he can just they relay to him information in some way. It seems like those are the likely odds.
Well, seeing as they just
are
killed...
any of your characters familiar with Warforged technology at all? Would any of your characters have a reason to be?
I mean, my character would be curious about technology in general.
Yeah. So you can make a history check and double your proficiency bonus with that.
I was in the military. I don't know if I would have served alongside any of them.
You can make a history check as well, and same thing for Elmorn, since
Sweet.
You guys both served for Sire in some capacity.
No need. Well, I guess since I can't talk to you, maybe there is. But I got a 28.
18 minus 2, 16.
I got a 28 with the -2.
I got a 14.
I'm not
All
proficient.
right,
I just get +4.
That's good enough for all of you. It's not a hard check. So they appear to be modified final messengers, which are a Warforged component that normally only deploys when a Warforged has fallen in battle. and normally they carry a single phrase of some sort to be delivered to a specific individual or location. Usually they're used by the scouts, the Warforged scouts, to have a way of reporting back to their superior officers if they were on a scouting mission that went wrong or a reconnaissance mission. But these seem to be modified, obviously, since there are 4 of them and they do not seem to be linked to the Warforged death.
Yeah. And somehow able to convey a message when it's quiet.
I mean, Ivar's assessment of this situation is they're fanning out. That's good for us. So I don't want to attack them right now or pop out of hiding now because they'll just not fan out. So there's no saving Petrie. He's gone. So so I would probably just stay in hiding for the moment and pray that my companions do the same. And then we can either escape or pick them off as need be. Like if one gets close, I guess I would ready an action, because if one gets like within 30 feet clearly coming towards us, then I might take the shot.
Okay. What about the other 2? Elmore and Tacitus.
I'm gonna go ahead and just put the insignia on, just in case. I don't know.
You're aware that we're in the zone of silence?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know that. I mean, it's a pretty sudden experience because you were hearing, like, you know, twigs cracking underfoot, the normal sounds of the wind and the trees rustling and some of the animals, and then all of a sudden it's just a sudden dead silence. Like you can't even hear your heartbeat or any of your bodily functions. So it's like you're very much aware of it.
Out of breath.
Yes, so that's the big tell for you, that you are not hearing your own heavy breathing. But that's good, because then neither are the Warforged.
Yeah, this means I can stealth better now. I don't know. Elmore would be like pissed that Petrie got killed, because he probably thinks Petrie's dead too. He would definitely ready his halberd and maybe take a position to like get a drop on any Warforged that were to wander into the forest that we're hiding in.
You can stab through teleporting portals.
It's true. Ooh. Would I be able to like do that without revealing myself? Like portal halberds that come out of nowhere?
Possibly, yeah. And especially since you're in a zone of silence, I mean, that's the big reason that you would have disadvantage on your stealth checks because of your armor clinking. Mm-hmm. You don't need to worry about that. And since your portal thing, you wouldn't have any you wouldn't have disadvantage on your stealth check to remain hidden. And it wouldn't necessarily give you up right away. Right. So that's a possibility.
Okay, is there a Warforged within like 30 feet of me? Or let's say I'll wait until a Warforged is like in a range where I think I can like teleport stab him.
All right.
That's what I would be doing.
All right, so you're waiting for that, and then so Tacitus, you put on your standard. What does it look like?
I didn't really think it through too much. I kind of just imagined like an insignia that attaches to the armor, but
like
it's visible,
magically
sort of
magnetic. Kind of
not necessarily. It could just clip on or something.
Okay.
Since it's plate armor, so like it can clip it into the plate or something.
Okay. So you clipped in that, and then are you also readying some kind of action then?
I'm gonna ready an action to look innocent.
Mhm.
I was like, wasn't me? I don't know. It wasn't me.
Okay.
I
So-
appear to not be doing anything hostile whatsoever.
All right. So you guys do see there's some warforges seem to be getting closer to your guys' position. So far, the flying orbs have not revealed your position yet, and they are kind of fanning out. So there's only really one or two of them that might potentially give away your position. And then it seems that the warforged have largely spread out in a semicircular pattern, following from the direction that Petrie originally came. The only one that seems to be directly retracing Petrie's steps is the very large warforged. Meanwhile, you see the warforged slicer and boils the blood manacle Petrie and drag him and put him on the spit. So Petrie, you continue your performance was so good that even as they are very roughly manacling you and jerking you around, they still believe that you're dead for the most part, but they're just being cautious since you would expect nothing less of a warforged than to be thorough.
Yeah, I just let it happen.
The first warforged. So after that, you see the warforged. The warforged scout is the one that is bringing Petrie to the what'd you call it? Milkmaid's carry.
Carrying pole, or what was it? Milkmaid's yoke.
Yeah, milkmaid's yoke. So that's what the slicer is bringing you to, and then is then circling out somewhat in the direction of Warforged. So the first thing that kind of comes into Ivar's view is actually one of the flying orbs. It comes into view. It gets close. Ivar, give me a stealth check.
-2. That's a 25.
All right. So it doesn't seem to obviously see or react to you, but it's continuing to kind of fly in your direction. And if you guys are kind of close, it may get into a viewpoint where it can easily see one of the others as well.
Then I would loose an arrow at it.
Okay. Roll your attack.
-2 again. My plus. Should have sharpshooted it before. That's a 28.
All right. Go ahead and describe what it looks like as you disintegrate it.
So it begins to fly close towards me. Does it spin? Does it like have an obvious eye, or
No.
it's just a ball?
Mm-hmm.
So as it gets closer and closer, Ivar rolls out from behind a tree, commando style, and pops up with his bow and looses an arrow that strikes the center of it, shattering the thing silently as the pieces go flying around in a circle.
I wonder if I see this.
Everyone
Probably
give me a perception check.
no one sees Ivar's heroics.
Oh my god!
Perception. Oh man.
I have 5. Holy shit!
I thought I was better at perception. Apparently, I'm not. 12.
All right. Ivar, give me a perception check as well.
Oh, natural 1. That's like a 7.
Then additionally, one of the soldiers begins to approach. Actually, no, the big Warforged is getting within about 30 feet of Elmorn. Elmorn, give me a stealth check.
Oh baby! Oh my! I'm using an action point. Come on, baby. Using an action point.
Oof.
Using different dice.
I swear you never use more than one action point, or less, or just one action point. You have to.
Holy shit! All right. Using an action.
Oh my god.
Third
That's
one.
3.
Ready. Yeah! Alright.
You meld into the tree.
Let's give it to him. Yeah.
What is it?
18.
Or appear to notice your presence.
Huh?
The large Warforged does not appear to notice your presence, but it is kind of cautiously looking around. But even though it's appearing cautious, it is kind of also casual in its approach, as the weapon is just kind of slung over its shoulder.
But you said it's 30 feet, right? So is it time? Do I strike now?
That's up to you. Do you want to?
Can I make the portal appear like in a direction that I'm not in? Like
So
not in
you
front
can-
of its face, like towards me.
Yeah.
So
Side or behind it.
Or above him.
yeah, actually. So you can have the portal like go right into the tree on your end, so that it's like you're between the trees between you and the thing, and then if you want, you could. There's no reason that it couldn't appear to attack from a different direction.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay. So your bonus action extends it, and then so with your attack action, you can go ahead and do your attack, your extra attack, and you have advantage on both since you're from hiding and the redirect.
All right. Well, good thing I have advantage. This is also -2, correct?
Yes.
So 17 for the first one.
It's a miss.
Does that hit?
No.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Okay.
Sorry. Am I fizzling out?
No,
Every now and then.
No, I just
Yeah, you cut out every once in a while.
that
Actually.
was particularly low. I heard it, but it was
Yeah,
I didn't hear
that time, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard miss.
Sorry about that.
I'll take the extra attack. Oh my god. All right. Okay. Go. What the fuck? All right, they both miss.
Your dog turned his head like, what the hell, dude?
So how do you want to describe it since you're operating the portal?
The portal appears in the tree, like you said, and since I was successfully able to hide in the tree, he doesn't detect me. I stab into the tree, and the portal appears like slightly above his head, and it's just like, shit. I try again, and then it's like maybe like it appears behind him and just kind of like tickles his back, so it's not strong enough. It was too far, so the halberd just kind of like and
Alright.
do much to get through his armor.
Just a little goosing.
Yeah,
Everyone give me a perception check.
I roll better than like shit.
Shit. That was
Perception. I got 10.
Hey, nat 20.
Not if you got that before.
I know. Right? Fuck.
I got a 7.
Got a not natural 20.
All right. So 2 out of 3. I'm not going to email you guys separate. So you notice, although the large Warforged doesn't notice this attack ever happening, you see the glowing orb in the middle of his head kind of glow and kind of what's it called? Flicker. But it flickers rhythmically, and then the large Warforged looks over his shoulder, and another one is looking directly at him, and several of them seem to be converging on the large Warforged location.
All right. I probably didn't see that with my low perception because I was busy. I'll like look around, I'd get some like dirt and shit and rub it on my armor and on my face and just make my hair look like crazy.
Like we were super clean before that.
Yeah, I know. I think I still have some glass on my arm.
Well, you maybe on like your sleeve, but you were very careful in picking it out for the most part.
It's on my quarterstaff. So like,
Yes.
I got my quarterstaff on my back, and I kind of like stand up and take a deep breath, which nobody hears.
So, yes, nobody hears it. So at this point, Tacitus, the one that was referred to as boils the blood, seems to be approaching your general location.
Okay.
So give me a stealth check.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
I'm dirtying up for a reason.
as he gets close, you reveal yourself.
I kind of like look like I'm running, like I'm lost. Like what the hell?
Performance check.
Sure. Advantage because he's dumb or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if these Warforged were able to give that in-depth analysis to Petrie.
Well, I mean,
yeah, they knew me perfectly.
That's everybody's assumption of Petrie, I think. So
disadvantage because his hobby is boiling people's blood.
Alrighty, performance. I got a guys. I'm really good at these with my my 8 charisma. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just use an action point. No, hold on, let me make sure. I have 1 more luck left. Oh wait, I'm just using an action point. Let's see if I can get a better roll. Nope, I sure don't. Okay. So here, 10 minus 3 total, 7.
Jesus, are you kidding? I rolled an 8.
Well, let me use another action.
For insight. Too late, unless you want to force a reroll on me.
Well, fucking, that's not
That's
gonna
a
matter.
low roll
A
for
low
him.
better.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
get
use a
better
luck
roll.
on you. That's what I'll do. I'll use my luck and roll for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. I rolled a 3.
Nice dud dice you got there.
All right. So the Warforged sees you, pantomiming like, how are you?
Like I'm, sweating. Of course I'm sweating. Like,
Yeah.
shit's going down right now. And then looking distraught. Like, why can't I talk? Like,
So initially he raises his hand, which is glowing, towards you. But then, based on your pantomime, he lowers it and just begins striding slowly towards you. Give me an insight check, but at disadvantage because this is a Warforged.
sure. I mean, it's unnecessary to give me disadvantage at the moment.
It's not a high roll that you need to roll.
For an insight, yeah, but you say that when I roll a 6, so
Is that your total?
yeah, with a disadvantage.
All
Otherwise,
right.
it would have been a 10.
You're absolutely positive that this guy is coming over to, save you.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like, surely I kind of know better than that, right? With my I know they have prisoners at their camp.
We just saw them
Yeah.
destroy Petrie.
Well, that was slightly provoked.
I mean, that's
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kurt, that's perfect.
If only I had a hat.
That's Tacitus.
Man, I really need a long rest.
And then, so this Warforged is just walking calmly towards you, and as it's doing that, what's that?
Can I see the big one?
From your vantage point, you can see the big one, but what you notice is that you see that dot flashing again.
Yeah.
Both in the one that's walking towards you and in several of the other Warforged over there. And 2 of them start approaching in your direction.
Okay. And I could see where Petrie is, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna like peek past and like kind of run that direction.
You're gonna run?
Like, oh, maybe I found somebody.
Okay.
Just kind of like move, kind of around and ish,
So,
around-ish.
So as you begin moving, you see Boils the Blood raise his hand, and he sprouts 2 shoulder cannons that the barrels are glowing green energy.
Soul wrench.
I mean, Boils the Blood, Soul Wrench. It's it's in the same family, right? Probably a brother.
Probably.
Same model, at least. So how do you react when that is in response to you moving towards Petrie?
I just like pointing, like it's kind of like take 2 steps, small steps.
You take 2 small steps, and one of the blasters shoots the ground right by you.
Hey, you can join me for a long rest on the spit roast.
Meanwhile, the very large Warforged and 2 of the soldiers are headed in the general direction of Ivar and Elmorn. Not specifically in your direction, so it doesn't appear like they know exactly where you are, but they're kind of moving towards you guys. And they're probably within about 30, anywhere from 20 to 30 feet from you.
So, are they still headed sort of directly towards Elmorn?
No, they're not headed directly towards Elmorn. They never were. It was apparent that they saw, even though the large one didn't see what happened, they saw what happened. And so they're kind of two of the soldiers came over to the large one, and they're kind of continuing in the direction that they were continuing in originally, because Elmorn's blade just kind of popped out of nowhere, and so they didn't really have a good idea of where it came from, so they're just kind of continuing on the path.
Okay, so there is at least a chance. I mean, did I see what happened to Tacitus and his interaction with Boils of Blood?
Yes, that was pretty obvious.
So
And even if you didn't see specifically, you would have seen the flash from the corner of your eye from the shoulder cannon, and then that would have got your attention, and you could look over and see Tacitus basically like this to Boils the Blood.
Okay. Because of my stealthy feet, I can move exposed between cover 10 feet. So I have some mobility, even if I have to jump out of cover, as long as I can get to cover again quickly. So I'm going to use my action to try to move away from the direction they're walking and keep stealth, or get into stealth and keep stealth.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You don't even need to roll. You can just describe where you move to.
So seeing the direction that they're walking in and unable to communicate with Elmorn, I will look to find another set of trees and low foliage that I can duck behind, and then run out and do a tumble and like commando crawl as far away as I can, trying to keep hidden.
All right.
Do I see him doing?
So, unless you have like, give me a perception check. And
I rolled a natural one, so don't worry.
All right, so you do not see this. You don't see Elmorn moving away, but you do see the Warforged kind of continuing on their path. They are going to find you fairly soon if you do nothing.
I won't do nothing.
Ugh.
But try my own. How many of them are there coming towards me in my general direction?
3,
3?
including the big one.
So I think Ivar's still there.
And you know you saw what's happening with Tacitus, because even if you didn't see the initial interaction, you saw the flash of the blaster.
Mm-hmm. guess. Fuck. I guess I'll try and like stealthily move away as well. Like stealthily get out of the way.
Okay. Roll your stealth check. You're not at disadvantage.
12.
So you try to back away from the tree and head towards another tree, but as you do, it's pretty easy for you to know that they spotted you because you are suddenly potentially bulldozed by the very large one who moves
he starts charging me?
way more quickly. Yeah, moves way more quickly than you would expect.
Wait, so has he reached me already, or do I have a chance to respond?
So if you're trying to use your sentinel feat, I'm gonna say that you can't because you weren't aware of the attack to begin with.
Not really what I was gonna say, but I know you're always on guard to not let me use that.
Hey, I've been doing better about it lately.
No, I was gonna say, like, if I notice he's charged me, I'd kind of like stop, and then I would probably, or Elmore would probably like kind of turn, like I'm gonna stand my ground, and because I'd be like, yeah, I've got Ivar to back me up, and then I'd look around, Ivar, Ivar, be silent the whole time, just me like looking. And then when he's not there, when I see a giant Warforged and 2 other Warforged coming at me, I'd be like,
Do I see him?
You would definitely see this. It was quite obvious.
Oh, I would look very excited.
what'd you do?
It's like, like, hey, I found another person. Yay! I gotta sell this, guys. I gotta sell it.
Give me a performance check.
No.
Me? Wait, me or
no, Tacitus.
Oh.
Tacitus.
I got a -3. I can't do. Quit making me. Oh God, seriously. I'll just give myself only 1 action point left. Okay. Oh,
okay, if you're using an action point for this, I'll just give it to you.
Okay, good, because I rolled a 1 and a 4 at -3.
You are so animated that it actually causes Boils the Blood to look in the direction that you're excited about.
Okay.
So you could take advantage of that. But before we resolve that, Elmorn, let's see. So it's not a natural 20, so that's good. As you're running away, you begin to turn around to try and stand your ground. But even before you can do that, but out of the corner of your eye, you do notice that Ivar's not there. And you just see in your face this square darkness that just takes up more and more of your vision until it impacts you. And then after it impacts you, it actually throws you into the air. And then as you're flying through the air, the large Warforged, his massive fist fires off of his wrist, grabs you, and then he flings you into a tree. breaking the tree.
All right,
And
I
you
want to
take-
see the live reaction of your health bar right now.
Could he be even more like violent?
Like I just got shot. You got fucking thrown around in the air. Like
Again, you know, who knows how much whiplash
now
damage.
let me see how much health you have. Oh, you're muted, by the way.
Who?
I just said I'm just sad we're in a zone of silence because I wanted to hear Mike yell, "Rocket to punch it!" Flies off his arm.
This thing barreling towards Elmore reminds me of this song.
Rocket Man. That's
No.
what it is.
No. It's an old James Taylor song.
Steamroller.
That's including your resistances.
Bullshit. I mean,
yeah, I know, right? Now play dead and I'll sit on the spit roast.
I look distraught, like
So the moment that boils the blood looks away, Tacitus, do you use that moment of opportunity to do anything?
Let me see what I have available to me, I guess.
And then while you're thinking about that, Ivar, do you react at all to what you're seeing? Oh, you're muted, I think. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it through. See, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, they're all going to get captured. But if I can stay uncaptured, they won't take my weapons. And I can, like, follow along after them. Or just go home.
Wait, doesn't Ivar have all the good berry wine?
No, I'm not carrying it.
Oh. That'd be funny though.
He bought it, but I see. The real question is, could I cast a spell and not be noticed? Do I believe that that is possible? He's distracted enough that I could discreetly.
Do you have any action points available? Or luck points?
I have one more, yeah.
If you want to use an action point, you can do so discreetly.
Because I got something.
It'll be like the subtle spell, meta magic. So nobody would be able to notice anything from you directly.
Because I mean, if that's yeah. So because I was gonna do a spell that.
So
only
yeah, actually,
magic.
subtle spell would remove the need for the verbal component as well.
Right.
So that's an opportunity that you can utilize as well. with the expenditure of that action.
Well, then let me take another quick look at my spells. Then I might have a better thing.
Phantom Steed and run.
Right. I could. Can I? Phantom Steed for 10 minutes. Give me a second. What? Let's see. not sure. I'm not sure. Because suddenly I'm thinking maybe my quick teleport might be a better thing to have right now. Because mainly what I was going to do was just do something to distract them even further. Like really wonder what in the world is going on right now. Maybe I could do that. I don't know. Maybe I can get rid of the suspicion on us. I don't know.
What's suspicion? Like literally, you guys did nothing except make yourselves appear, and this was their reaction. Well, also you used hostile magic against them when you counterspelled that invisibility.
That is not hostile. That is that is strictly abjuration. That is protection.
Right. You defended against their assault, so they took that as.
Listen, I didn't want them to go invisible.
It is a good thing that you didn't, because that was greater invisibility.
Oh, indeed. Well then, what's the grouping like then?
So you were relatively close to Elmorn.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably 15 feet away from where he was before he got tossed into that tree. So then you're probably within 15 feet of the big guy and the two other Warforged with him, who are now, their back is to you as they approach Elmorn. And then there is the Boils the Blood, and the two that are joining up with him are Boils the Blood is like within 10 feet away of you. He's like really close. Actually, he's probably a bit closer than that. But he's kind of overconfident right now, based on your performance. So he's probably like right up in your face, just about. Whereas the other two are they're coming closer, so they're probably within about 10 feet of you, but in a different direction than where Elmorn and those other ones are. And then there's the scout, which is about 30 or 40 feet from you, Slicer, who's with Petrie. And then there's a couple of other Warforged that are still out in the search area in a different direction.
Okay. So if I can subtle spell for an action point, for my last action point, I'm going to cast Dispel Magic. See if I can get rid of the silencing. Perhaps I'll have to cast it at 4th level because I have no more 3rd level spells.
All right. So suddenly you can all hear. The Warforged seem to react very strongly to this, but they still do not verbalize anything. You simply see the flickering of the dot of light upon the Gulra. By the way, when I say Gulra, each Warforged has a unique symbol on their forehead called the Gulra. So it's the outside of other major like aesthetic differences between Warforged. That's one of the primary ways of telling them apart.
Can you use it in a sentence?
There is a Gulra on each Warforged forehead.
You have a very nice Golra. I admire your Golra.
Yes.
May I touch your
Ghulra.
Golra.
Gulra.
With the silencing gone, I'll just yell out, "Oh, thank God! Man, we're so lucky we found you guys."
Still muted.
So, Boils the Blood turns to you, and he says, "No, meat sack. This is not your lucky day."
Why you gotta be so hostile? Come on now.
Wait, we can talk now?
Friends. Yeah, I dispelled them with the silence.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that.
Yeah.
And then Boils the Blood, he says, "Meat sack, you best stay where you are. Make any sudden moves, and I will destroy you."
What? Look at me. I'm not doing anything. Hell, I barely survived getting here.
And like I said, it is not fortunate for you to have stumbled across us.
You say that now. But I think both of our fortunes have turned this day.
So the two approaching you, they approach you from either side, and they have manacles out that they're about to put upon you.
Is this entirely necessary?
Your choice, meat sack. You can do this standing or on your back.
I'm not.
Warforged wouldn't get the innuendo, but we do.
An interesting proposition. You know, I know a country. It doesn't matter. The shackles are unnecessary, but if it makes you feel safe, I guess.
So are you going to allow them to shackle you?
Do these shackles look like they do anything extra besides just bind hands?
You can give me an Arcana check if you want, or an investigation check, depending on if you're considering mundane or magical.
Yeah, I don't want anything that like zaps my magic from me. So yeah, I'll be checking Arcana here. Come on. It's not exactly what I wanted, but 17.
As far
sorry.
as you can...
15.
As far as you can tell,
apparently my twitchy arm makes me not able to see things. I don't
know. So you don't notice anything in particular made to stop magical energy or anything that would bind your magic. They seem to be pretty mundane.
Alrighty. Do I notice anything special about these particular Warforged? Like, do they have markings, indicators of where they came from, or anything like that?
Well, you wouldn't know about this, but everybody else that was on the Lightning Rail would recognize the symbols of those Warforged on these Warforged as well. So they're from the same group.
But I don't recognize these
and also
as being like former Syrian warriors or anything like that?
No, there's no sigils or any kind of symbol associating them with any kind of nation. Now, while you're doing that and getting tied up, Elmorn, what are you doing after having been knocked through that tree?
That's my friend, by the way. I was trying to find him. I think he probably just got scared.
Well, feeling the sheer power of being destroyed through a tree. And that Ivar is nowhere to be found. Probably wouldn't put up much of a fight. So yeah, I'd probably just, I don't know, just lay there.
Okay. So then they'll come and manacle you as well. And then the large Warforged in booming voice says, "Are there any others of you around? If we find them, we will kill them should you lie."
I mean, I just kind of like quick glance around. I don't see Ivar at all. The real question is, where's Martha?
Magic.
He flew away. Round one.
He's
flies away.
He learned a new spell, Mallet Space.
Yeah. Then I'll just say, no. I mean, you just nearly killed my two friends. And they were the ones I was looking for. Why? Is there something else out here?
And then Slicer comes back and says, "Sir, one of my scouts was destroyed, but the others have returned and they have not found anything else." Then the large one turns back to Elmorn and Tacitus and asks, "Did one of you destroy the scout?"
I'm Spartacus. I mean, it was me.
Then the scout turns to the large one and says, "Man chopper, it will be quite some time before I can create another one."
Man chopper? Oh, fuck.
That's the big round one?
Yeah. So you guys got Man Chopper, Slicer, and Boils the Blood.
So Man Chopper is big and round and has a hammer.
That ends in a kind of axe head.
Okay, so at least he has something to fit his name. All right. I only remember the hammer part, so
can throw people through trees. That's pretty impressive. It's like all conifer damage.
I was going to say, clearly they don't take the Native American naming method of just step outside and first thing you see is your name.
Maybe they do. Maybe that's what this is, their camp.
All right, so Ivar, what are you doing during all of this?
I am continuing to remain hidden. That is all I'm doing. Okay. I mean, when they move, I intend to try to follow them, but for now.
All right, so each of you are pretty violently put upon this milkmaid's pole, and so you're dangling painfully from your stomach. This is especially painful for Elmorn, who took a full force backhanded hit, because if it had hit you with the axe end, it would have hurt a lot worse. So he hit you with the flat of it, but still, that pretty well crushed in your plate armor and cracked a rib or two.
Do I know Warforged to need sustenance like organic beings?
You do know this information. They absolutely do not.
I was like, call out, like, are we hanging upside down?
No, that would be pretty painful to have like a bar in your spine that you're kind of draped over. So your hands and feet are bound, and they got these poles that they have on their shoulders, right? And so you're kind of draped over these poles, and so you're feeling every step as you're bouncing on your stomachs.
Gotcha. I'll just look to the lizard and just like look at the one that's carrying us, or carrying me, I guess. What do you need the lizard for?
You'll see, meat sack.
Come on now. There's no reason for that.
Where's the displacer kit? That's still in your backpack?
Yeah, I guess you pick up the backpack, unless you just leave it. Because I left it behind the tree before I went out.
Well, that's where it is.
Yeah, so it's all on Ivor. Does he risk his stealth for the displacer kitten?
I'll make the decision when they leave.
All right, so they pack up, and then they grab the milkmaid's poles and start heading off.
Okay, once they've started moving, I will go over to the backpack because I'm not sure. I have a couple bottles of good berry wine. I don't know who's carrying the rest of them. I'm afraid some of them may be in that backpack. So I will go and make sure there's nothing like super important that I want from that backpack. And if the kitten's in there, then I'll take the kitten out and put it on the ground. If it chooses to follow me, I'm not going to stop it, but I'm not carrying it. But otherwise, I'm mostly, my first thought is he may have more good berry wine in his kit.
Petrie, did you?
No, I had none.
Okay.
I mean, I forget how many bottles.
Packs. Yeah,
I forget how many bottles of it we had. I have 4 written down in my inventory. I'm sure we had more than that. Although I also don't know how much we've used.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think we've used any.
Yeah, I don't know if you've used any yet.
We had like 10 or something bottles of it at one point. So it may be one of those things that nobody bothered to write down what they were carrying.
I don't remember being told that I had any. So
Martha had.
I think Martha had them. Yeah.
Okay.
So he flew off with them. That's good enough.
So Ivar, the displacer kitten, kind of mews at you. And then as you walk away, you can hear it continuing to mew at your heels.
Tell that fucking cat to be quiet.
Stupid kitty.
Yeah, at some point, if it keeps making noise, I may have to take out a Tanglefoot bag and smother it. So I will turn around and shush it. And then follow on after these Warforged trying to remain hidden.
Well, Displacer Beast.
Go ahead.
Huh?
I was going to say, I'm going to try to, like, whatever path they're walking on, I'm trying to not walk in that exact same path, like a few feet off of whatever path they're on.
Yeah. So, the Displacer Beast, since they are a bit more intelligent than other kinds of beasts, I think they even have a culture and a language. This one kind of understands you and then shushes.
They're also evil, so it may just meow at the wrong time to get me killed.
So it follows you through the brush. Eventually, you guys come out of the forest.
After 100 feet, I'll realize I may need the cat as a distraction, so I will pick it up. Like if they hear me, I'd rather they come and find the cat than me.
There.
In case it wasn't not understood, I would have, before like jumping out in front of the guys back there, I would have put the doll away. I don't need that fucking thing just floating around.
Right. So as you guys eventually exit the forest and see before you a large, it looks like a destroyed city with rather tall, what used to be buildings, but now mostly ruins. Some of them seem to have been repurposed or built up, refortified. And there are a large number of Warforged. It looks to be a Warforged camp. In the distance, you see a couple of different things. First of all, you at where you guys enter into this camp, there is kind of a checkpoint, I guess you could call it. And you see this. Why is it not letting me do my application?
I don't want to see me. Go away.
You see this. So, not that. You see this. So, that is a Warforged Titan, clearly, but it is much more advanced than any that you have recognized. And as far as you know, Warforged Titans, the production had ceased a couple of years prior to the end of the last war due to the cost of them and the efficiency of the more quickly available and adaptable Warforged that are actually have taken you captive. So this one is a pretty imposing figure. And then in addition, when you enter the camp, this is what you see.
Time to bow to our robotic overlords. I swear that one's from a different planet altogether.
Oh my god, it's terrifying!
So,
Ah!
Whoa!
We're sucked into the infinite void of our own minds.
Wait. No, you guys are not supposed. Are you still seeing just yourselves?
Yeah.
God damn it! What the? I can't stand this thing.
We were seeing Inception.
Yeah.
Why is this not working?
You were screen sharing your own screen.
I was, but that wasn't. I didn't have Google on my screen.
Do you have two screens?
No.
Oh,
What about now?
yeah, we can see it.
Wait, what are we seeing? What is this?
What is that? Yeah.
Looks like an egg. It's another egg.
Oh God. The hell's inside of it?
Next to a totem.
Some sort of dragonish creature.
It's the evil egg.
Egg's
Like
evil
some
brother.
professional- Did you Photoshop this egg into this picture and Photoshop whatever is inside of that egg? This is some professional quality work, Mike. Good job, dude.
Is it that big? Next to
So
I don't
So-
know. Yeah.
Oh,
this guy right here is a normal size Warforged.
Oh fuck.
So this is
So-
the exact replica of what we see. A giant egg next to a giant totem.
So, and the egg is connected to a bunch of tubes and cables that connect it to this giant totem thing.
What, you couldn't take the time to do that? Show us now.
What's that?
Well, I said, what, you couldn't take the time to show us that on there? No.
Yeah, why didn't you Photoshop some wires on there?
Because I literally got this done like 5 minutes before the game started. I didn't have any more time.
No, we're just kidding, Mike.
So we can see that the outline of something in there.
Yeah, can we see that?
Yeah. Do you want me to zoom in?
Sure.
Can we make a guess at what we're seeing there?
Looks like a horn and like a teeth.
Probably a Tarrasque.
I don't know what that is, but
Hell on Earth, usually.
It's a unicorn, guys.
It's a lichen unicorn.
I mean, it doesn't look like a normal animal.
well,
What
I
is
haven't
it?
encountered any animals that are like 10 stories tall yet, so no.
Well, there's
Actually, we
bird.
did. Yeah, we conquered.
Yeah,
there
the
was the one.
glass thing.
Yeah, the thing that stomped on the glass village.
And the Warforged Titan, which we met on the train.
That thing wasn't 10 stories tall. He was like,
Was it?
Yeah, this egg is huge because this guy right here, that's a Warforged.
yeah.
And that egg is just like
And the Titan is only like 5 times the size of that dude. And that
Yeah,
egg,
a Titan would be. Yeah, a Titan would be like this big compared to the little guy. So this is like 10 to 20 times bigger than a Warforged Titan.
basically, this thing exists in a size category of its own.
So how big is that sword, or is it just like really close?
Oh, the weapons are really close. Yes. Perspective. I included that in this.
Maybe it's the sword of the thing that lives in the egg.
Oh,
Guys, we just gotta roll it over on top of that spear over there. We're good.
So you guys are walked next to this thing in a procession with other Warforged. And you notice that in this tower, in these pods right here, they're actually people.
Oh, hell no.
People.
And the Warforged right here, he pulls a lever, and you can see energy flowing through this thing. And each of the people inside suddenly desiccates and ages rapidly until they die. And you see energy flow from them
Nope.
into this egg.
I just say, oh, come on, guys, that's not necessary. Surely there's a better way to do this. A more energy efficient way, first off.
And then off in the distance, you're taken to a camp with other prisoners.
Oh, good. We're at the end of the line.
And then you are.
Shouldn't the Lady of the Mist be rescuing us about now?
The real question is, what's Ivar doing?
I mean, I would have followed until they get to this settlement. I mean, I assume there's no easy way to just stealthily approach the Warforged Titan. So I probably would have circled around the settlement a bit, looking for a way that I could sneak in. I am assuming there is some kind of like prison camp. Hopefully they don't throw them in this tower and immediately desiccate them, because my plan is to sneak to the prison camp and spring them there.
Yeah, so that is exactly where they're taken. So there's a number of prisoners being kept in communal cages where Tacitus, Almorn, and Petrie are all thrown in, but not before all of their belongings are taken and they're stripped even of their clothing.
So we're naked?
Yeah, you guys are all nakers.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of that.
And everybody else is nakers.
What do the Warforged think of all the little crawly things in the crotch of Petrie?
They kind of just shake their head and they're like, God damn, I'm glad I'm made of metal.
Well, I
and then
have a particular fondness of my armor.
The three of you make perception checks.
Nope.
Yeah, no, not happening.
Natural 20.
Hey, finally somebody.
So, Elmorn, you notice that at regular intervals, fairly close to these communal cages, are a number of Warforged that have a similar look and build, almost as if they're kind of a model, that are aesthetically similar to Boils the Blood.
Okay.
So many of his brothers are in regular intervals around these cages at some distance, as well as armed guards that stand at these at the entrance 24/7, looking at you guys in their unblinking, never-ending stare. And since these guys are Warforged, they don't need to sit down or rest, so there's no change of guard. They're just always staring.
But my hope is that they're still focused on keeping people in the cages, not on people coming from outside the cages, trying to break into the cages.
So, when did they know I was not dead?
If they ever knew, they don't seem to have cared.
Are there dead people in this camp?
I mean, there's not a whole lot of dead bodies. I mean, there's one or two in the corners maybe, but for the most part, everybody looks to be alive. And they actually, the Warforged, take the large creature that they killed and also place that in the center of the cage and yell something to the effect of feeding time.
Oh, so we're eating people.
Or eat the raw meat. Okay.
It's like the Matrix. They have to be efficient.
All right.
So are they still manacled?
No, their manacles were removed as they were brought into the camp. Well, they were thrown into the cage. So you guys are getting situated into the cages, and then one of them, a young girl, looks at Elmore and says, Hey, I know you.
No.
Do go on. Do go on, please.
Yes.
I'm so glad this is being recorded.
Yeah, you're the one that got all big and took on that Warforged Titan.
You were on the train.
And then a man steps forward and says, Yes, many of us here were on that train. What? How did you get here?
And then I'm like, time for me to get big again. Just kidding.
And then a number of them start looking at you and become hopeful and say, Are you here to rescue us? Are you going to get us out? Did you come back for us?
He coughs up blood.
Yeah, like, how do these people, do they look mangled like we are?
No, they look
Gloomy-eyed.
malnourished and tired, but other than that, other than being naked and relatively cold against the elements, all of them.
These people have been here for ages. How the
Okay.
fuck-
Yeah. How long
Why
ago
aren't
was the train? I mean, we
Ages.
did a lot of stuff. We had to circle around the whole Mournlands to get here.
So
Yes.
the train was probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago.
It was before the tower. It was
Yep.
before going to the dinosaur land.
Land of the Lost?
Yeah,
Drone.
Jurassic Park.
You guys weren't in Dinosaur Land. You were in
Drone.
Rome, the land of
Oh.
monsters.
I was there. I joined you guys at the tower, and I was not at the train. So.
Yeah, it was shortly before the tower.
Oh, that was before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on the way
You
to
guys
the
remember?
tower.
Yeah, and you guys sold the iguana at the tower.
From the
Oh.
box
that
that
you
you got
found.
on the train.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys do something crazy after that though?
Yes.
You guys.
Oh, you
yeah.
were gone for a little bit.
Yeah, I was gone for that time. Yeah.
Yeah. While we were in the Monster City.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. Okay.
So hey, that's good news. You've got a little bit of time in the prison camp before they melt you in the tower.
Maybe our minds and whatnot can recover here, as these people don't seem to be affected. Maybe this land here is exempt from the effects of the whole country.
Yeah, so actually, Tacitus, give me an Arcana check.
Sure. Fucking really? I'm gonna stop using my wife's dice and use my own again. 10.
Yeah, you don't know anything. But it's a good observation that you made that these people seem to have had the effects of the Mournland stalled to some degree, because based on what you've seen and heard, they should be much worse off than they currently are.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very aware. Because it's fucking one of my dice rolls right now.
So Petrie stands up and he says, "I wasn't dead, guys. I was faking."
Eventually, I learned that.
Yeah. I was trying to sleep, but it wasn't working.
You should have stood back up. I'm pretty sure they would have put you back to sleep.
Yeah, you're right. So do we go and eat or?
Just like a Wookiee. Just thinking with your stomach. You feel free to eat raw meat if you like, I guess. A little. What's the temperature like?
It's fairly cold. Not
Lovely.
freezing. It's not freezing, but you know, it's not very comfortable.
I believe it. Are we allowed to keep our knickers at least?
No, you're completely knickers.
Wow. All right. Well, it's the cold.
Before we get to the scene where they have to huddle together for warmth, Ivar is still looking for just some place where he thinks he can sneak into the city, even if he has to climb over rubble to get in.
So, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
I'm good at those. What is my bonus? Oh, 25 with the -2.
All right. Let's see what the story dice have to say with this.
And I am prepared at any moment to hurl a cat as a distraction.
So you actually see an area around the perimeter where there is an ever so small hole in one of the walls that line this camp. It's too small for anybody of normal size to get through, but it would not be unreasonable for someone of your stature to get through. And
I object on racism grounds to normal size. I am normal size. You are giant freaks.
So it is a totally normal sized hole that the Warforged can't get through, and so they don't mind it too much. But at that moment, you suddenly are in the presence of a glowing being who is like these white flowing robes and this appearance that is quite haunting yet beautiful and also deeply disturbing. As she turns to you, her face is half scarred with a gaping hole where one of her eyes would normally be. How does Ivor react to this?
I mean, initially I would probably sort of scramble back. I mean, I'm guessing this might be the Lady of the Mists, but who knows with the missing eye and everything. So I would scramble back a bit and then, say, "Are you the Lady of the Mist?"
In a haunting, multi-tonal voice, she says, "Yes, I am she."
And are you here to help me? Because I hear that's what you do. And I need to sneak into that city and try to free a bunch of my friends who've been taken hostage.
I would love nothing more than to help you. But this place, it holds me at bay. I hear the voices of many call me, wishing escape from this hell.
What is it that
But
holds you at bay? Is it a specific thing? Can there something I can do so you can get in there?
she kind of reaches her hand out towards this camp, and then it almost there's a sudden glow revealing an almost invisible barrier, and she says, "There is some sort of bubble around this place. It keeps me from entering. I cannot pass. I've never seen anything like this throughout Sire. There is no other place like this."
And do you
notice
know?
it's weird? You notice it's weird that she refers to this place as Sire.
Do you happen to know Elmorn? Because he's been looking for you for a while. And I'm not sure if you're related to his daughter or are his daughter or what the relationship is.
She turns to you, and her face remains stoic, although you can see what appears to be a single tear kind of fall from her face, and says, "Yes, that is my father. He is here."
He is one of the people I'm trying to rescue, yeah.
She kind of sighs and says, "I knew he would come someday, but I wished that he would not. This place, no one belongs here."
Well, if you can't come in with me, you still may be able to help me. Can you sense where these voices that are calling you are? Because I have no idea where they're being held in this city, so I'm going to have to search. But if you could narrow down the approximate location of where they're being held, that'll save me a lot of time.
She doesn't respond verbally. She just touches your forehead, and suddenly you are swirled up in the gray mists. And when they dissipate, you are in a different area entirely. A kind of a mountainside almost that overlooks the camp. And she points and says, "There. Those are where the people are calling from. They are trapped in cages."
Yeah, I'm sure I can. I like to think I can get through a lock at least. But it'll be a lot of sneaking between here and there. So as I'm saying this, I'm actually going to take out of my backpack, let's say 3 normal arrows and tie 3 thunderstones to them and keep them in my quiver. Because I'll just tell you the reason I'm doing it is there may be a point in time when I want people to go that way. So if I can just shoot a thunderstone way over there, it may cause people to move.
So she looks at you quizzically, not really knowing what you're doing, and she says, "There are many creatures there. I cannot feel them like I can normal people. but I know that they stand guard at these.
Well, that's why I'm hoping I can use a little bit of distraction to pull them out of position if I need to. Or I can find a place where they can't see me where I can sneak into the camp. It's actually going to be very complicated. I think the odds of me surviving this are pretty slim.
I cannot help you inside, but perhaps I can help you draw their attention.
That would be helpful too. What can you do to create a distraction? And every Warforged turns to look up the hill. The Warforged with the cannon on his arm kills us.
She just kind of looks off into the middle distance and says, I will need time to prepare.
How much
me
time?
About a day. After that, when you are ready, do you have an arrow that you can light?
Yeah, I do.
Shoot an arrow into the sky, one that is lit either by fire or magic, and I will begin my work.
So I will take out another regular arrow and tie an alchemist fire to it.
She then, a bunch of mist gathers around her, envelops her, and then dissipates, and she's no longer there.
Are we even gonna last a day?
The little girl was here for months.
Why don't you put her in charge?
I say we take the little girl with us as like a permanent companion.
Will you call her Gecko?
The new shock.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a day before she's ready. How long do I, like, how far am I? Like you said, I'm on a hill overlooking the prison. Am I in the city or outside the city looking down?
It's a mountain, actually. She left you on a mountaintop.
Okay, so it's going to probably take me a while to get down there. I probably should get started. I was thinking, like, maybe just rest here, take it easy for half a day. But no.
Yeah, she's not the most considerate or aware based on your first impressions. She disappears and you're looking around. She's like, well, she could have at least teleported me down back there.
It gives me something to do, I guess. So I'm going to start trying to carefully make my way down the mountain.
So meanwhile, you guys are being in the cages. You guys are being swamped by people that are talking about the heroics you demonstrated on the train. A lot of them being very hopeful, asking if you're going to free them, if you're there to rescue them, did you come back for them? And it's a bit overwhelming.
Did we see what they did with our stuff?
Outside of remove it from you guys, no. They took it off, but it's not like they had some central place that was in clear view that they put it where you know exactly where it is.
Any chance I could have kept my component pouch?
Where did you hide it?
Did you hide it in the good old prison sleeve?
How thorough was their search?
Yeah. Are they familiar with what a nutsack looks like?
Oh, by the
Tie it
way,
off.
the story dice that I rolled was shit.
You
This
rolled
guy,
shit.
which got me the hole that you found. I didn't really figure out what to do with this guy, but I figured you guys were in prison anyway, so that covered it. And then this thing, so I was like, yeah, give me the Lady of the Mist.
Actually, to cut back to Ivar, Ivar is like about 20 feet from where he started when he goes, shit, now I don't know where that hole is anymore.
So the story dice were very convenient for that that little roll.
I was actually sort of wondering when the Lady of the Mist showed up, like, did he even rely on the story dice? Because, but apparently he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm mostly wondering because I'm wondering where Egg is.
Ooh. So I'm gonna retcon something real quick.
Okay.
Along the way, after you were tied up and put upon this plank that you were most uncomfortably sitting,
Sure.
Egg, unbeknownst to the rest of the Warforged, fell. And he wandered off the path looking helpless, and Ivar came across him and scooped him up.
Okay.
Did he?
I was kind of hoping he could stay in my pouch or whatever, and like he could do a little stealth mission and let it like
Run a side
pokes
campaign.
out of the pack.
Yeah, let's run the side mission next week.
Perspective change. Everybody roll different small characters.
I'll play the kid.
Y'all can be woodland creatures.
Yeah. So we got the egg. We got the cat.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we can have a phantom steed and a gnome.
So all the animal companions get together to
All
rescue their masters.
I'm going to take good care of Egg. He's precious.
Yeah, Egg I would have scooped up. I would. The kittens
dies.
knew.
Egg can't die.
So, Ivar, you notice something somewhat strange, somewhat exhilarating when you pick up Egg.
No. Fine.
Hey, that will be Ivor will be normal size now.
No, Egg didn't grant him that one. But you now have resistance
to whiplash damage.
And only whiplash damage.
I didn't get. Sorry.
So you got a resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Magical or not magical.
Sounds familiar. Now I don't have it. You have it.
Yeah.
You have the power of the egg.
All right. So, how much damage did that thing do to you without resistances?
46 damage. No, that was with resistances.
That was with resistances. Okay. Yeah, I got hit for 60.
Yeah, but I would have got hit for 92. I would have been basically dead.
Wow. Yeah, we got messed up.
Yeah.
92 is well more than my max HP.
I mean, if you think about it, these Warforged, they took down that thing like it was nothing that you guys were first hunting.
Well, we didn't know if we could have taken it out like it was nothing. We never got the chance.
Right.
Yeah, and we weren't hunting it. It would just happen to be in the direction we were going.
Yeah.
True. But also, I mean, these Warforged, they have to be tough to be able to survive the Mornland, regardless of the fact that they're not affected by it in the same way that most creatures are or seem to be. It's still an incredibly harsh and unforgiving environment. I mean, so yeah, these Warforged, they're not all going to be as tough as Man Chopper, Slicer, and Boils the Blood, but they're going to be pretty resilient creatures.
Well, I mean, everything is tough to us now. I got my AC's at 10 now without my armor.
Oh shit! Yeah.
How far in from the edge of the city was the camp? From, assuming I went basically in a straight line from where I saw it.
It's not too far into the city. Wait a minute. Do you mean the camp, or do you mean like the prison specifically?
The prison that she pointed out to me.
Yeah. So there is kind of a wall of sorts that marks the boundary of this camp with several checkpoints. Not all of them have Warforged Titans, but a couple of them do. But this one is... The wall is not too far away from where the prisoners are being kept, but all along that wall at regular intervals are the ones that are similar to Boils the Blood. So they are positioned somewhat in the capacity of magical snipers, and had Tacitus made the check, he'd also see that they are in some way responsible for dampening the effects of the Mornland on the physical bodies of the prisoners.
But so they're the ones that I sort of assumed they would be there, that I might need to distract and see if I can get them to move. So hopefully she can help me with that. But I was more just trying to figure out, like, if I have a day before she's going to be ready, I guess I don't want to really get into the city much more than like an hour before, like hour 23, because I don't want to go in and then have to hang out for 12 hours. I'm better off hanging out outside.
Yeah.
Unless you can get up into second or third floor of one of those abandoned buildings.
Even then, I'd be a little concerned that I might just be safer to keep my distance for a while, rather than be sort of in a place where their floating eyeballs can find me.
Yeah.
Since I know those are a thing, they have these little eyebots that fly around looking for things.
Yeah, so also, Elmorn, I rolled the check to see how mad he would be about that. You got lucky. Otherwise, he would have broke your hand.
Wait, mad about what? I'm sorry.
Because you claimed to have broken one of the eyebots.
Oh.
Oh.
He took one for you, Ivar.
So.
Yeah. So either I need to get my component pouch or find a bit of bat fur.
Yeah, there's bat fur all around.
Yeah. I'd like to be able to scout around here while we're just sitting here, because I have Arcane Eye prepared. I could look around, but,
are we inside a cage, like a giant cage? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many people roughly do you think are in the cage with us?
There's probably about 100 people.
Okay, so fairly large.
Pretty large group.
Okay.
I mean, it's actually 2 cages that are right next to each other. So combined, it's 100 people, but it's like 50 people per cage.
And the cage door is shut, and there's a guard outside looking in?
Yeah, and then on at each entrance, there's a guard looking in, and then on either side, there's also a guard looking in. So there's 2 from the front and then 2 from the sides here. None at the back, because at the back you got the wall with the standing arcane guards.
Arcane guards?
Yeah. Well, they are models that look similar to Boils the Blood. You know that he was clearly a model specialized in the use of arcane energies.
So there's just guards freaking everywhere. Awesome.
So I think that this might be a good stopping point.
Yeah, I think so.
What did people think of tonight's session?
I want to play.
Did not go as I expected it. I was not. It occurred to me that that maybe we might have to kill all the Warforged. It didn't occur to me that they were going to like do 90 damage to Elmore in round 1.
Yeah, I did not expect that either.
So as soon as I realized, like, okay, this is turning into an unwieldy fight, I figured, okay, I guess it's prisoner rescue, and Ivar hid.
Yeah. Yeah, not knowing that they were going to take us here no matter what, I was like, okay, well, accept fate.
The mystery that I've been trying to work out in my head is still, why was the doll's head pointing to these Warforged? Like, the lady in the mist was nearby, I guess. Like, maybe she made the doll's head point to them or something, but she didn't necessarily seem like she knew what was going on when I talked to her.
So I will say,
I think we were just supposed to follow the Warforged.
there is a reason. I've partially explained it to Tacitus, but because magic.
Yeah.
Because magic. I do want to play the what is it? The forest creatures side mission. That sounds like so much fun.
So much fun, but most of the forest creatures are not going to survive a 60-point Eldritch Blast to the face.
Creatures of the forest one shot sometime.
Yeah. Actually, that would be kind of fun. After the prison break scenario.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, what were the pets up to?
I just for me, I'm picturing the Christmas critters from South Park.
Satan worshippers. I thought it was fun. I'm interested to see this melodrama go down, and I'm finally reunite with my tear-shedding, eye-missing daughter.
Yeah, there's another surprise in store for you when you meet her.
Oh, God damn it. Of course there is. Never a nice moment with you.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not nice. I'm just saying it's a surprise. Yes, most of my I will admit most of my surprises tend to be of the body horror type or psychological torment, but you know, there's an occasional egg.
Wait, did you say body horror?
Yeah.
By the way, I'm pregnant.
And it's yours.
Wow. That's the psychological horror part there.
You got everything.
She'll tell you that she wants to take you to meet her husband who got her pregnant, Baragorn.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, I'm like, that guy would probably have known all about this stuff and advised us against this.
Not sure why we left him back there.
We would have had to have run the wrong way in the glass to save him, and everybody else except for who was with him? Marthel, I guess, was the one who was behind with him. Was way ahead at that point.
Petrie barely made it.
And he was like already under glass before we could have done anything to save him.
Yeah.
He was also evil, so.
By the way, Ivar, as you are making your arduous climb down, whenever you finally get to the bottom, you see Martha waiting for you there.
Do I? We don't know if he's going to be here next week. Maybe he'll just be like, he'll flash out of existence again.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm here. I'm gone.
But yeah, I wanted this to be kind of a different kind of battle. One where the bad guys seemed really prepared and have some kind of battlefield control. Because I don't think I've really done that much before, and I wanted to kind of see what that would turn out like.
I thought that was all pretty good. Like I made the joke, like, was our plan to let them buff? But that's what any party of adventurers would have done in that circumstance, is decide that there might be more and buff themselves up. So
yeah. What did you guys think of that analysis?
We're not adventurers.
Yeah, I really like I was gonna say, I really like that analysis thing.
That was pretty hilarious. Basically, call it to be a whim.
Yeah, which is very on point.
Well, you guys, Petrie is what are you, a half elf?
Yeah, I'm a half elf. Yeah.
You guys, I don't know if you remember this, but Petrie is 16 years old.
Yeah, I'm a little baby.
Okay, I did not know that.
For a half elf, that's really young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had known that, there'd have been several times where I was like, why are you taking this child along with you?
Indeed.
Gave a 16-year-old fucking space crabs.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so that was my way of just reminding everybody that Petrie is
yeah, he's a baby.
He's like real young.
Yeah, I'm fresh out of the womb. Like.
Actually, one thing I didn't think of, when I was up on the mountain looking down, could we see the giant egg?
Yeah.
So I almost certainly would have said giant golden egg. Any idea what that is?
She would have said no. Just
of course. No. Yeah.
I don't imagine I could have ascertained any information at all while being carried past it.
Wait, did you have different assessments written up for each of us? Was that tailored specifically to Petrie?
No, that was only because Petrie was the only one that moved forward and presented himself.
Yeah.
Had it been anybody else, I would have done a different sort of threat assessment.
Oh, you made that up on the fly? I thought you wrote that out before.
No, I did write that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Could I'm just making a guess. Seeing the egg, could I make an Arcana check to try to figure out if the egg is maybe the source of whatever's holding her out of this city? It's sort of the obvious magical feature, so that's 20, not natural.
It's definitely a good guess between the egg and the giant structure next to it. Probably one of those is responsible. But Tacitus, in terms of your viewing of the egg, you don't know much about any of that. You wouldn't have a basis of knowledge necessarily, but there may be people in the cage that has more knowledge about what might be going on. So next session, it might be good to kind of think about what kind of questions you want to ask the people that you're with.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but now you know that not everybody from the train died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great news.
Only the people you
What's that, Tony?
I said only the people you left on it.
All right. Well, I got to get
this.
to bed.
Yeah.
All right.
See you guys later.
See ya.
See you guys.
Take care, everyone.